So what we'll do is we'll start by looking at what this course is going to be all about. What is the approach of the course, and what are we going to cover specifically? All right. So first of all, let me tell you about myself, and then we'll go on to the next part of the topic. So basically, I'm an IT professional, and I have almost now 22 plus years of experience. Started somewhere in 1994. Okay, and since then, I have now been associated with Techcanvass. So by degree, I'm an engineer, and then I also did my executive MBA from IMK. Then worked with various companies like ICICI, Mastech, and other such companies. I have written a couple of books, and I also blog regularly at businessanalyst.techcanvass.com. That's the blog which I maintain. And I also take guest lectures at a management college called Narsi Monji in Mumbai, and also an engineering college called SNDT. These are the couple of books which I have co-authored with one of my partners. So they are already published by Prentice Hall of India. So that's about me. Now, to start the introduction, we'll first look at what is the role of a business analyst. What does a business analyst do in general? Okay. I request all of you to be on mute. I think somebody is not muted. Okay. So first of all, let's understand what is business analysis as such. Okay. So business analysis is a more broad level discipline which covers two things primarily. One, understanding the problem which you're going to solve. That's the need of the business as to what is the problem they're facing. And second part of it is determining various options to solve that business problem, as well as validating the solutions options. So you should be in a position to recommend a solution to the customer, saying that out of these various options, if there are multiple options, which one is more suited to your context. So behind the scenes, there will be a lot of parameters which you'll be working with, identifying the business needs and determining the right solution. Because the important part is, even though the problems may not always be unique, so somebody is looking to automate their sales and marketing process, it is not going to be unique across all the companies. Every time you look at this problem, it may not be unique, but the context and the customer background will keep on differing. And because of that, the solutions also keep on differing. So in some organizations, Salesforce could be a best fit solution, but in other organizations, Salesforce may not be a best fit solution as a CRM solution. They might look for Siebel CRM or some other solution, or rather a homegrown solution or completely made to order solution. So there are a lot of factors which go behind determining which is the right solution for a particular customer given the business requirement. So business analysis is a very, very generic and very, very broad level discipline. Okay. But what we are going to focus on is the business analysis in the IT industry. Okay. So when I say IT industry, it is about automating and providing software solutions to customers. So the context of learning business analysis here is delivering software solutions to the customer. Okay. However, the business analysis does not remain limited to providing software solutions alone. So what does a business analyst in IT industry does? Okay. So this starts with identification of the business needs. So business analyst is one of the key persons who is involved in understanding and identifying the business needs and the value which the business is looking to derive out of this particular requirement. So for example, if somebody is looking to automate a business process, it could be either to increase the revenue, it could be to increase the customer service levels. There could be different business value which people can target. So business analysts starts by looking at the business needs, understanding it, and converting into, or rather translating it to a set of detailed requirements which the technical team can understand and convert it into a business solution or a software solution. Once the development team does that, then it comes back to the business analyst to validate it. The solution has to be validated before it is given back to the customer. So that's the cycle of business analyst work. Okay. So they start by understanding the requirements and giving a validated solution to the customer. So to summarize this, this is like an intermediary role between the customer and the development team. So what are the key responsibilities of a business analyst? If we can become a little more specific, then they are basically interacting a lot with the customer as well as the tech team. So as far as the interaction with the customer is concerned, they are interacting with the customer for requirements gathering, requirements modeling and analysis, the documentation of it, like preparing SRS, FS, many other formats of documentation for capturing the requirements, managing changes to the requirements, doing the functional testing, and coordinating with the customer during the UAT, because they are the functional owner of a particular software project. As far as the coordination with the tech team is concerned, it will be relating to the doubts which the technical team might have relating to the requirements. So they might come back to the business analyst for clarifications. Okay. Or the same thing with the customer. If they have some clarifications relating to the developed software as to why this was developed like this, or they have a problem in terms of executing it, they can come back to the business analyst. So these are the key responsibilities. So related to the key responsibilities, there have to be certain skills which needs to be acquired by business analyst to be able to fulfill their responsibilities, right? So broadly speaking, we have created a craft framework which contains 4 very broad level skills which we feel business analysts must have. Okay, it can be expanded much more than these broad level topics, but they give a good glimpse of what you should have over the period of your career. So starting with communication skills on the right hand top side. Okay, that's the pattern where we have the right hand top as the most important part. Communication. It's very, very critical for a business analyst to do well. It's just not about oral or written communication. It's also about how well you can manage the expectations of people, how well you can be seen as an unbiased professional, because you're not talking to both the sides. And there is a danger of you getting kind of labeled as favorable to one side. Okay, so that's a balancing act which you need to do pretty smartly. That's very important. Second will be to be able to listen to what customer is saying or what the technical team is saying, so that you can understand the real problem. Okay, active listening is one of the important skills of a business analyst. So communication skills is one of the top level skills. Then equally important is requirement analysis and modeling, and that's the crux of the technical skills for a business analyst. You should be able to help the customer evolve the requirements to a level which can be converted into a solution. So if somebody says, I want to automate my sales process, it's a very broad level requirement, but unless it is converted into individual micro level functionalities, may be converted into screens, may be converted into procedures, your technical team will not be able to do anything with that. So that's your skill to evolve the requirements of one lines into tangible, developable requirements. That's all about requirement analysis and modeling. So even in the course, we are going to focus a lot on this. Third part is the functional testing, which is the ability to validate not only the software, but also the requirements. So even if we have, the third part was functional knowledge. So the functional knowledge is about understanding the business processes. Okay, how well you can understand the business processes so that you'll be able to understand the jargons used by the customer. It's always an advantage if you understand the business part of it or the business processes, as they say it. In the entry level situation, you may not be required to know the business processes, but as you go along, you should be starting to acquire business processes knowledge, which is important for a business analyst. Last part is the functional testing, that is the verification and validation, which is about making sure that what you're going to develop is correct and what you have developed is also correct. So it's like checking the requirements first, that is meeting the customer expectations, and then also validating the solution, whether it's meeting the customer requirements. So these are the four very broad level skills, but let's break it down and convert it into requirements for an entry level business analyst. Okay, so these are very specific skills. All of this we are going to cover in our course. Okay, so starting with understanding the different methodologies of software development and why one methodology is better than the others, what are the advantages and why it has been in use. So like for example, agile, why we use agile, why don't we always use waterfall? Then understanding of the BABOK guide, not only from a certification perspective, but BABOK guide has certain very smartly described business analysis rules, which you need to understand. Then requirement elicitation techniques, UML modeling, prototyping, data flow diagrams, logical data modeling, SQL, very limited skills required for as far as SQL is concerned, but you need to know how to get data from the tables. So select statement is something which we are going to focus on. Then verification and validation, which is the testing part of it, and a bit of cost benefit analysis, which is the analysis of solution when you kind of determine. One of the simplest cases to understand is build versus buy. So if customer is looking for a solution, do you recommend building it from the scratch, or you can buy and customize? Which one is a better solution for the customer? So that's the cost benefit analysis. With that, we'll also understand what is a business case. So these are the specific skills for an entry level BA, which we're going to cover in the course. So as far as the syllabus is concerned, obviously all of these are part of the syllabus. So these are the 5 broad level modules. So the approach which we take is there will be certain examples and case studies which will be taken up as we go along. There will be certain tools which we'll be covering. We'll also share with you some templates which are ready-made, and you can also use it when you're working as a business analyst. Okay. As far as the approach is concerned, what we do is we cover the basic concepts and the theories behind each of the topics. Then we do some exercise in the class. We also give you assignments for practice. So it's very important to understand that practicing is important, because these are all, a lot of things are theoretical here, even though they may not be exactly theoretical concepts. So even UML modeling, when explained, is basically a theoretical concept. But if you do it, you will understand it better. We also have a couple of live role plays where we try and practice certain aspects of business analysis skills, so that you get the basic idea as to how it happens in the real life scenario. And there'll be 2 projects which you'll have to do as part of the course. These are the tools which we are going to cover. So UML, why UML is a tool for use case diagrams. UMLET is even UML tool which we use for activity diagrams. Then of course SQL. This is a tool called Pencil, which is used for creating prototypes. There are many other tools available. So it's not mandatory that you only use Pencil. There could be hundreds of other tools. And web sequence diagram is a tool used for creating sequence diagrams. These are the various templates which will be available to you. In fact, a little more than these. There are just 6, 7 ones, but you'll be getting more templates compared to these. And finally, as far as expectations from you is concerned, my only expectation is that if you can practice it and participate in the class exercise as well, you should be able to get a good practical understanding of the concepts.